Hello everyone and welcome to The Forge! ArtificerDM's podcast here as we give you guys everything you need when it comes to custom items, NPCs, locations, gods, backgrounds, and all you need for your own D&D session, whether it's for NPCs, players, and DMs alike. Hi everyone, I'm Mike, I'm community manager, and joined with me is... Who wants to take the reins?
I am Artificer Falcon, I am the lead dev.
Artificer Joe, founder, and also product designer.
Yeah. If this is your first time here, and ignore the whole intro, we all sit together. This is our think tank. This is where we forge out and smith out all these different ideas that you guys can utilize in your own games, and hopefully either you can take it word for word, or maybe it inspires you to build something. And much like any good artificer, we are great at infusing and creating items, which we're going to provide you guys with some item options right now. We've all came up with a custom item of our own. Forgive me, but I think we're gonna keep you last, Joe. I think the way we were discussing it last time. So if you would like, Falcon, I'm gonna go first. I think I'm gonna jump on this right away.
Yeah, go for it.
Bit of a item crafting. I want to present you guys with the Beggar's Guise. It is a perfect tool for rogues, or even those who are deceptive characters who want to take something that isn't theirs. It is a ragged old cloak that is draped over the wearer. It is sun-bleached in some areas, stained near the bottom of the hanged fabric, and sports several holes. Essentially makes you look like a beggar. The item has a action feature and a bonus action feature. The action feature is that spending an action, you can wrap the cloak around your entire body, causing a thin layer of grime and soot to appear on your face and body, causing your hair to become disheveled, and undoing the guise reverts you back to your normal form. So it gives you a little extra layer of disguise. Bonus action, you can command the cloak to make a sleight of hand check to pickpocket. It has its own bonuses, so it has a +5 to do the check, and essentially you can pickpocket without using your hands. The cloak will do it for you. Alternatively, in combat, you can use a bonus action to grapple a creature. It's not as strength-based, it's more dexterous, so it only has a +3 to the grapple check, but essentially you can just do a bonus action to grapple someone, and you don't need your hands. You have your full use of hands, shields, arcane focuses, the whole deal, and that is the Beggar's Guise.
That's super rad. I can see where that would be super helpful in like big cities and things like that. That would be super cool.
It's great for those who are not dexterous to just walk around the town and just the cloak just grabbing everything you can, you know?
Yeah, perfect for a deceptive character that hasn't wanted to spend into the rogue multi-class, but was thinking about it. And it's like, I can just take this item and kind of get there, you know?
The only drawback in which most of my items have is there is some sort of tail, obviously, is you're not going to walk into a fancy, ball wearing those Beggar's Guise. And that's where all the money is.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't work in every scenario.
It doesn't. Your goal is to get them on their way to the ball. Like they're crossing through you on the streets and just, gotcha. On their way out.
Well, Mike, I think we had some sort of cross connection here because I had something not similar in vibe, with leaning more towards deceptive characters. So I have a duo item pair, but they work together. So I'm going to pitch both of them, and it's the Shadow Glyph and the All-Seeing Blindfold. Essentially, the Shadow Glyph is just like a small, almost translucently purple stone that can be placed on an unsuspecting creature without detection. When the glyph is placed in a pocket, on an accessory, even directly on the skin, it magically adheres to the recipient, becoming mostly invisible to just their observation. They have to succeed on a wisdom saving throw or check to be able to kind of see it. Now, it doesn't really do much on its own without the blindfold. And what the blindfold allows you to do is the wearer of the blindfold can cast Scry. The person who has the glyph is not aware that they are being scryed upon, and there is no check. The scry automatically succeeds. You can do this once a day, but the wearer of the blindfold is overwhelmed by the sensation of this connection, this forced connection, that they have to make a Constitution saving throw after the scry ends, else they take a point of exhaustion.
Oh, interesting. That
So, because
yeah.
I mean, if you can get it on the person, you can just watch what they do, regardless, and they'll never know unless they find the item. But again, there has to be some sort of, I feel like, balance drawback to doing this, because that can be pretty powerful. Being able to just spy on someone with no restrictions, no chance of failure, it just works.
I did this to my player, something similar to this.
Okay.
And this might be a great way for somebody to be like, how do I put it on my, how does the villain put it on my players? The way that my players did it, or the way I did it to my players, is that one of them had a loved one who was part of the military, and the general was evil. And so the general was much like how real military is, like, oh, I'm going to visit the next of kin, or, you know, the other loved one, and present them with a gift. And was like, here is their uniform, here is some gold, because obviously there's like a severance that sort of comes through it, and here's what we found in there, and acted very well as like, and here's some stuff we found in their closet. And one of them was a ring that was a ring of protection that had the exact same curse, which is whenever someone casted scry on the person, no check needed, it automatically succeeded. And it was a way for the villain to keep track on the guys. And the only curse effect was that they couldn't take it off. But it was a ring of protection on the surface. They didn't want to take it off. They didn't realize it. They're like, oh, ring of protection. Yeah. I'll never unequip this. So it was. I like concepts where you can place it on people and they find out later down the line. Yes. It's great for story.
For sure. And that's kind of where I where that came up with this is there was other media and things like that, and even in play, like scries fail pretty regularly and stuff like that. So I'm like, what if they just didn't? What if there was a way to where they could, takes a little bit of work, but you could just force it to always succeed?
Some elbow grease is needed, but eventually, if you could just add this in, boom.
Exactly.
You know, it also makes all the players always look behind their shoulders, because the moment they do figure it out, they take it off. They're just like, "What the hell's going on? What have they seen?"
100%.
Joe, I'm really since the last time we talked, I'm not sure if anything's developed, but what do you have for your custom item today?
Yes, so I have, and this reason I'm going last, I have kind of the three things we'll discuss today kind of all tied together, and they all came from the NPC, and we'll talk about that later. But the first thing I have is the Mangrove Song. It is a two-handed polearm. It is a paddle, a swamp or mangrove forest guide's paddle. It has a blade on the edge of it that is made of shattered seashells, and is made of petrified wood. At the paddle's end, there is a almost swirl of holes of different sizes that, when swung around, make a whistling, almost like pan flute noise of different notes. So you have to be proficient as a musical instrument in order to use it as as a weapon. Yeah. So that's literally the only mechanic I have figured out for it, other than the fact that that's what it is, and does have some musical element behind it. So it's like half instrument and half I kind of got inspiration from as a kid, the tubes that you wave around and they make the noise. If you guys are familiar with that, but instead it's the paddle. So yes, it's a Mangrove Song. We'll get into the theming of all of it later, but I thought very interesting, and the shells don't break on the edge. It's magical. So
I have a concept of what it could do, but Falcon, do you have an idea?
I want to hear what you got. What do you got?
All right, so obviously this weapon has to deal with someone with magical instruments. Immediately I start to think of bards. The way that I think of bards is that they utilize sort of the gift of creation, whether that's music, writing, art, all that stuff. But since we're actually going towards more of a sound-based item, I will say that this could be a weapon that has a reaction. And what the reaction could be, and it's spending your reaction, but as a reaction, you can basically flip the paddle so that it makes that sound, that whistle, and that can cause a creature to have disadvantage on spells that require a vocal component because you are essentially disrupting.
Nice.
The vocal
that's great.
That's so good.
It
That's
won't.
so good.
It won't help you if you are doing it. If it's a spell that requires you to make a save, it helps that for attack spells.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, anything with the verbal component. I was thinking something in the same realm of gust, or
That's good.
something in the wind
That's
space, or just being able to cast it as
Some thunderclaps or something.
Thunderclap.
Shatter?
Yeah, doing additional thunder damage or shatter. Yeah. But I think that's fine. I think that out of those, which were, so kind of where my head was going, I do like the disruption aspect, and then gives you like a loose counter spell for, I also, maybe it's a monk weapon as well. And we treat it as a quarterstaff, which actually I think works better with the theming. And I know it has the blade edge, but, it's a staff. So
Most can use weapons. There are monk weapons,
right.
yeah.
Right. So make it a monk weapon that works with monks, and you give it, you give it the disruption, and they have some form of counterspell almost.
Yeah.
Very specific counterspell, and they,
Right.
but
Still,
a good one. Yeah.
It could be
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be an item that literally, if you wanted to incorporate like a counterspell aspect to it, you said it has multiple holes. Maybe that you only have, maybe this item only has like 5 counterspells, and then once you've used them all up, that's it. Now it's just a weapon, because maybe what you're doing is that you are swinging in such a ferocity that the shells shatter and then shatter the spell.
Yeah, I almost wonder too. You could do same thing with like kind of charges. Maybe like you have, because they're different sizes. You have 5 charges, but each one's individually a different like modifier. So you'd have like a D8 or a D12 for the biggest hole. D10, D8, D6, D4, and you could pick which one you want to use in the scenario. You only get those a day, or maybe you'll recharge on a short rest.
I actually like that a lot better. Like maybe you could do that. Like there's a D4, a D6, and a D8, and that lowers the DC as a reaction instead.
That's nice.
And once you use it, like I've used my D4, it's like great. Use your D4. You roll a D4, it's only a -1. Or maybe you get a -4, and that's great.
Yeah.
Add some variance to it. I like that.
I like that. All right, let's keep on going. Well, beyond what we have in terms of items, I like the fact that you have someone connected to a character. So I want to learn about characters. We have a couple of NPCs here that you can throw into your own world or utilize as a template and mold and alter the way that you need. Joe, we're going to start with you because you've already kind of got a concept already going.
Yeah. So I think that the mangrove song, and where it really came from, is guara. It is a turtle, and it also feeds into the location, which I'll have to discuss a little bit. But guara is from the mangrove spawn. If you guys are familiar with a mata turtle, they have their head almost looks like leaves. And kind of, so on guara, the turtle, it makes a kind of a crown around their head. They carry the mangrove song with them as they are river guide to this mangrove forest. I imagine them as a half monk, half bard kind of theming, and as guara breathes, these tiny holes across their shells, make a like sweet horn sound, like that harmonizes with their voices they speak. So I imagine them with like a kind of deeper, almost southern accent. But it's interesting because it has these sweet horns that harmonize as they talk, as they blow out. It also goes through the holes. And then, if they're really, at the end of the night, if they met with the players and they sit around the campfire in the mangrove swamp, they could play some music where they swing the mangroves song around. They're playing the horns out of the holes on their body, and then they also are playing some percussion on their shell as well.
She's a walking pipe organ.
Yeah, exactly, a walking pipe organ. Perfectly camouflaged with the mangrove swamp. So like if your players enter the mangrove swamp, they're probably on some sort of boat. There's no way they're going to be able to notice Guara at first, and then able to like it comes out. It looks like across their back, like they were part of the forest. Yeah, so that's Guara. I'll talk more about the backstory a little bit more once we get into location because it all ties together. So
Cool. I went first last time. Now this is your turn. So, Falcon, why don't you take it away?
Sure, I came up with something a little kind of silly, and I've seen this kind of trope in TV shows and stuff like that, but I don't think I've ever heard of it necessarily in tabletop, at least none in my experience. So I have a shopkeeper, and his name is Merrick the Merchant. Pseudo name.
Okay.
And Merrick is a master of disguise and subterfuge, and the idea is to have him as a recurring character. So you go into a village, you go to the local shop, and there's Merrick, or at least as you see him there. But then, later in the campaign, you're on a completely different side of the world, and there is somebody else. But they look familiar. Is that Merrick with a mustache?
Oh no!
It just looks so familiar, and players can't quite put their finger on where they've seen this character before. And down the road at a little shopping cart, a traveling caravan. Does he have a goatee? Is he wearing a top hat?
Wait a minute, he didn't have blonde hair last time.
Yeah, exactly. And this character just seemingly just appears all over the world with just ever so slightly different appearance, different accent, different clothing. Is he the same person? Is he something a little bit deeper, a little bit more interesting?
No, of course not. I'm not Merrick. I'm someone else today.
Exactly. And I always found that kind of funny. I think it was might have been Schitt's Creek, where I think it was the real estate agent that was like everything in town. He was the mayor, he was the real estate agent. It just like I've seen the trope done in comedies and stuff like that, and I think could be pretty humorous to stretch it like over a whole campaign. Like, hey, they might not have seen this character in months in real life, but then all it takes is like one of the players to be like, wait a second, like through a DM's description, do we know him?
Yeah.
And they just let them unravel it.
Yeah. I think Avatar The Last Airbender, there's one of those as well in one of the towns, one of the fishing villages.
Yes.
Yeah. Is Merrick Fae? It sounds kind of like Fae in nature.
Fae.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Fae.
Okay.
You could do Fae. Okay. You could do. Actually, they're all simulacrums of some.
Fun.
That's great. There you go.
Entrepreneur or something like that. Like there could be a lot of really cool ways the DM could go about it, but it's only if the players start to recognize and pick up on it. Like it could be so subtle, but then
my name's Derrick.
As the players start to, exactly. I'm Derrick. Derrick. I don't know a Derrick.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna pick a letter in front of the word Merrick that does not match, so it does seem weird. It's like, hi, I'm Derrick. It's like Derrick. Yeah. It almost sounds like a name.
Yeah.
But you space it out just enough between like acts or sections of your campaign, just enough to where they don't recognize it right away.
Yeah.
And you just like leave the breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what's happening right now, Falcon. I think we're kind of in the same groove as I also have a merchant. Definitely different vibe. 100% different vibe. So arguably I'm presenting one of my kind of more beloved NPCs from my own world. I have shirts, I have bead art that's currently hanging somewhere. I got chibi illustrations. This person is everywhere, and everyone who plays in my campaigns like this person. Their name is Gina Lee. Gina Lee is an Air Genasi magic shop owner and enchanter. Her shop's called Swirly Jin's Magical Bin. Jin is spelled D-J-I-N-N because she is an Air Genasi, and a genie is called a Jin. I like working against established preconceptions. So, like Gina Lee's mannerism is very like deep valley girl, and has sort of a less articulated vocabulary. But that might present as a bit of an airhead, and kind of mixing together with a Air Genasi kind of gives you that mentality. She is anything but, as Gina Lee is a very powerful enchantress, who is a businesswoman first. She has skills to enchant weapons, armors, items, and more. She also becomes very much of a trusted friend within most parties. And she has that kind of like the heavy Valley Girl mentality that's not a bully, like not the mean girl, who will see anyone regardless of who they are or what they're dressed as or how they present themselves. If they're a loner type, she'll be like, oh my god, you have such a vibe. And just like always present some sort of positivity. Also, my players like it when I do a Valley Girl accent, so that's how that goes.
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is Gina Lee. She is honestly, the way that I put a lot of force behind her is there was like a moment where players are like, can I sell you some magic items? She's like, sure. What are you presenting? And of course, business side comes in. They present an item. She goes, okay, well, that's some money. Let me go back. Turns around, moves her hand, opens a vault that's been invisible, and you just see a dragon's hoard of gold. She's making money. She's making bank. She's like, okay, you want like 500 gold? Easy. Throw that to you. Close the gate. Magic enchantment, dissipate it. And just showcasing that and not like saying, oh, she's rich. Just showcasing that somewhere in the world she has a demi-plane of nothing but gold. It definitely puts instills in your players like, this person's fine.
Yeah.
Don't
worry.
The person I thought they were on first introduction, read a book by its cover. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure the first introduction between describing the character and then going into role-playing as the character is great to witness on the player side.
Yeah, the way she looks is that she has light blue hair, light blue eyes, light blue skin. She practically looks monochromatic. She has some sort of whiter features that sort of give her a little bit of a pop of color. She wears a light blue dress, and on the bottom of the dress are floating clouds with happy faces that just sort of spin around the entirety of the seam of the dress.
Love that.
That's fun.
But that's Gina Lee. And all these amazing characters and items live somewhere in the world, which is why we're going to present now some locations that maybe you want to throw into your world, whether they're cities, islands, continents, or what have you. Maybe there's some runic lost worlds here that you can throw in. I don't know. I'm throwing it out. You guys tell me. I think we've all had a chance to go first, so I think, Falcon, you're going to go first on this one.
Yeah, sure. So I have something a little bit smaller in scale. A town called Hollow Glen. Pretty simple little village. Players wander into it. Everyone is pretty nice. You see, everyone going about their day to day. People interacting in the streets and things like that. Players stay the night. They wake up the next morning. They walk outside the tavern, and people are doing the same thing. They're having the same conversations. They're making the same exact movements. It is.
I don't like this.
On repeat. Yeah. Yeah. No.
This is legit one of my fears. This is like a core fear of mine. It was like nothing. Yeah. Like I'm trapped. This is like spatially trapped. I hate it.
Yeah. So, Hollow Glen is filled with shadows of people that are trapped underground. These the current denizens that are seemingly there living in a Groundhog Day scenario aren't really the townsfolk, as the townsfolk have been taken underground by some kind of shadow force. So I think this could be a really fun, your players are on their way to their next destination. They stop in this, quirky little village, beat off the beaten path, and it's way more than just a little village off the beaten path as they wake up and just notice something's funky here.
Great way of utilizing that is that if the players enter the city like near night maybe midday, they're like, oh, we're gonna have to rest here. They meet someone who's nice, who's just like, oh, you staying just for the day? Hey, are you leaving in the morning? Could you just help me unpack some of these things in the morning? Just because you guys seem stronger than most of the villagers here. And then in the morning they're just like, what are you talking about? I didn't talk to you.
Oh yeah.
That
would be great.
Or the innkeeper that they're staying in is like
what
you rent any rooms? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's even better because they reset. What are you doing here? Knocking on the door. You can't be in here. What do you mean we paid? Yeah. No, you didn't.
Did you steal the key? It's great. Even the person's like, where's the key to room 2? And then knock on the door and did you steal my key? What the hell's going on? Show them the receipt. Yeah. No, we paid for it. This was yesterday.
And they're just like husks, which makes it a terrifying spin because like players might not get stuck there, but like having them unravel the rest of it is really interesting. But yeah, these are just husks. Just makes it so much scarier.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a couple. You could even throw a couple other spins on it. Maybe one of the townspeople is still there, and they're like trying to. One, they're unable to leave the town, and two,
Nice.
they're like stuck in this absolute nightmare of a Groundhog Day, to where all of their neighbors and stuff aren't really real anymore. But this townsperson can't prove it.
Have you seen?
You can get.
Have you heard of false hydras? No, I hate them.
No?
You have? Okay, they're TLDR. They're basically the gaslighting monster. They're supposed to make your characters feel like they've been gaslit, because it's the same concept of like, there's some monster out there that has such a voice that sings out for 100 miles or however it is, that makes you forget that you've seen it, or makes you forget that thing. Like your brain can reconstitute and do like modify memory on its own to like, it eats someone, and then imagine it eats like the town mayor. And then in the next morning, as everyone fails their save, they're like, "We never had a mayor."
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
but
yeah,
what's
yeah.
this? What's
Exactly.
this mayor? What's this mayor's house doing here? I don't know. That's probably from the past mayor. You know, never was there.
Very Lovecraftian. Like
Yours
vibes.
sounds like it's a lot more constructed, and it's not gaslighting your players, which I appreciate.
So yeah, that is Hollow Glen, or honestly, the town name doesn't really matter. It's whatever. It's the concept, the theme of the town that really is important. So
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, I can
Go for it.
go next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have it's two things. One, it's like an area, or the mangrove that I've already been talking about. And a mangrove swamp, I think by itself is enough to stand. There's plenty of swamp creatures you can throw in here, and swamp variants of things that exist. But centrally to this mangrove swamp, if the players meet Guara from earlier, they will be tasked with trying to resurrect a old monastery that was in the middle of this swamp. So it's a sunken monastery, and it turns out the Guara is like the last protector of it, and the paddle is a relic from them. And there used to be, 1,000 years ago, there used to be so many of them, but Guara is the last one of the trade of protecting this cathedral. It is transversible. In that there are, similar to how Guara, when they go underwater, they can plug up the holes all over them, so they're not just letting water in all the time. The cathedral has the same thing, and as the players transverse it, there's like this constant like whale song going on from the limestone walls, of just the way that the wind moves through, because the top of the cathedral is still above and brings water in because of the pressure inside, and so you get this like whale song at all times. New denizens have moved in to the cathedral that the Guara has made friends with, one of them being a telepathic octopus. I just thought that'd be fun.
You've given us a full quest at this point.
Yes, yeah, basically a full quest. Yeah, full quest.
Use it, everyone. Use
NPC, it. Yeah. So much to do there. So, yeah, that's the monastery.
You know what? This inspired me. We should do, next time we do the Forge, we should come up with a quest.
Yes,
I like
for
this
sure.
concept.
yeah, I like that.
All right. I have a location for you guys. It is called Anburned. It is a lone island off the mainland. Anburned is one of the few places in my world that has a very semi-active volcano. The volcanic deposits are enriched in elements that allow the surrounding jungle and the creatures that live within it to grow at an alarming rate. Essentially, I took what real life is, which is like, volcanic ash and soot, and sort of the elements that are inside that. The soil actually does help forests grow and jungles grow. Just let's amp that up. This is my world's Skull Island. For those who don't know, that's where King Kong lives. We have giant monsters, large insects that cover, that I'll cover future Forge when we talked about monsters. they roam the island. There are rumors that there is a gold dragon that lives inside the volcano, but no one has seen the dragon in some time because a band of fire giants have taken over the island and currently are living inside the volcano as well. So no one has gone in to check. The island already has a reputation of being dangerous due to the local flora and fauna, and there is. It's great for late campaigns, just because the environment is fairly dangerous. The monsters that live within it is also dangerous, and even if they can beat the avoid lava rivers and the giant beasts that roam around, there's also fire giants that sometimes come down from the volcano to search for food. So it is a great late game scenario environment to sort of trek around because there's just violence all around. It's hard to live here.
Yeah, I don't think that I have had a place in my campaign that is that fraught with danger. From fire giants to maybe a gold dragon. I mean, it's almost the I can't believe I'm breaking that. Is it Wizard's Tower, the never-ending dungeon, basically 99 floors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
it's just nonstop combat. If you're into combat, that sounds like the place. Like as soon as, but if I'm thinking of a player I've had specifically, as soon as he found out about this island, it would be, when are we going there? When are we going?
I recommend whenever you do something that's fairly high level, put a time limit on it. Always put a time limit. Say like, maybe because again, gold dragons are metallic dragons, meaning that they're generally good. So,
right.
And fire giants are generally evil. So you can definitely build up a story where like the fire giants have taken down the gold dragon and are now using it for something. Maybe you've been tasked by the local tribesmen to be like, hey, we used to worship the gold dragon. Can you go and save it from the fire giants? Yeah. Just be careful of the jungle and all of the beasts that are around. We only have a certain amount of time before some event happens, and we need the gold dragon to be present.
Smart.
Now it's a risk of, do you go into every fight or do you sneak? And it definitely encourages players to be creative in how they get around problems.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely adds a challenge, but then you could have all kinds of adventures in that kind of a location, though, which would be fun.
I think that's going to be it for today for the Forge. We've given you guys so many great gifts today that you can utilize within your own campaign, games, one-shots. And don't forget to also go to ArtificerDM to create your own account. You can do so for free. Hey, it's all free, and you'll still get use of our scribe stuff. It's all there. So we appreciate it, and hopefully you guys subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.